In 2025, more people than ever are embracing singlehood, not out of cynicism or resignation, but as a thoughtful, intentional choice. This shift isn't about giving up on love or companionship, it's about recognizing the value of independence and self-discovery in a rapidly changing world. As society evolves, singlehood has become a practical response to new realities. People are reevaluating what happiness and fulfillment mean, and for many that means prioritizing their own growth and well-being. The traditional path, marriage, children, and settling down, no longer feels like the only option. Instead, autonomy, self-care, and personal satisfaction are taking center stage. People are finding joy in their own company, exploring hobbies, and investing in their mental and emotional health. Economic instability, rising living costs, and the relentless pace of modern life have made the idea of adding a partner and children feel overwhelming for many. The pressure to have it all can be exhausting, and singlehood offers a way to regain control and reduce stress. Today, singlehood is seen as a destination in itself, not just a waiting period before the next relationship. People are traveling solo, pursuing passions, and building lives that reflect their unique values and dreams. The cultural narrative has shifted dramatically. Being single is now celebrated as empowering. It offers the freedom to explore the world, invest in careers, and form deep, diverse friendships. Social circles are expanding beyond traditional family units, creating new forms of community and support. The old stigma around single life has faded, replaced by a sense of pride and authenticity. People feel more comfortable making honest choices about relationships, without fear of judgment or pressure to conform. Singlehood is now a valid, even desirable alternative to traditional family life. It's about creating a home and a lifestyle that truly reflect who you are, on your own terms. The rise of singlehood signals a new social contract, one that values financial security, mental peace, and personal freedom over outdated expectations. People are learning to prioritize their own needs and aspirations. For many, opting out of marriage and children isn't a rejection of connection, but a logical response to the risks and sacrifices that modern family life demands. In this new era, singlehood is not just accepted, it's celebrated as a path to fulfillment, resilience, and self-empowerment. The biggest deterrent to starting a family today is the soaring cost of raising a child. For many, the dream of parenthood is overshadowed by the harsh reality of financial strain, making what was once a natural next step in life feel almost out of reach. In 2025, it costs nearly $300,000 to raise a child to age 18 in the US, a staggering 25% jump in just 2 years. This figure doesn't even include the cost of college, which can add tens of thousands more to the total. That's about $23,000 per year, turning parenthood into a luxury for the wealthy and making it feel unattainable for middle and working class families. The gap between those who can afford children and those who can't is growing wider every year. For most, dedicating a quarter of their income to child expenses leaves little for savings, emergencies, or even basic comforts. The pressure to provide can be overwhelming, leading to constant anxiety about making ends meet. Childcare, housing, food, and healthcare have all seen dramatic price spikes, making the financial math impossible for many. Even dual-income households are struggling to keep up, as wages fail to match the rising costs of essentials. The dream of providing a comfortable life for children, enriching activities, family vacations, and college savings is slipping out of reach. Many parents are forced to say no to opportunities they wish they could give their kids. Parents are forced into tough trade-offs, sacrificing their own well-being and future security. Would-be parents see the struggle and, after careful consideration, often decide not to have children at all. The choice to remain child-free is often a sober acknowledgement that the economic system has made parenthood unsustainable. It's not a decision made lightly, but one born out of necessity and realism. For many, the risks and sacrifices simply outweigh the rewards. As the cost of raising a child continues to climb, the future of family life in America hangs in the balance, leaving countless people to wonder if the dream of parenthood is still possible. To truly understand today's crisis, we need to look beyond the headlines and statistics and consider the lived experiences of families across generations. Let's take a moment to look back at previous decades, when the American dream felt more attainable for the average family. In the 1990s, raising a child cost about $150,000, an amount that, while significant, was manageable for many middle-class families. Back then, it was common for households to get by on a single income, and parents could focus on building a stable home life. By the early 2000s, costs had risen to $200,000. Families felt the pinch, but with careful planning and budgeting, many could still make it work. The dream of homeownership and raising children was still within reach for most. Fast forward to 2025, and the landscape has changed dramatically. The cost of raising a child has doubled, and in cities like San Francisco it can now top $500,000, an amount that feels insurmountable for many young families. This isn't just gradual inflation, it's a vertical climb in expenses, while wages have barely budged in comparison. The gap between what families earn and what they need to spend has never been wider. Key expenses like housing, childcare, and healthcare have exploded, putting enormous pressure on parents and would-be parents alike. Even basic necessities now require careful calculation and sacrifice. As a result, the American dream, owning a home, raising a family, building a future, has slipped out of reach for many, replaced by anxiety and uncertainty. The goalposts for financial stability have moved so far, they're no longer visible for most. What once seemed like a clear path is now a distant, blurry target. For many, choosing singlehood isn't about rejecting family values. It's a rational adaptation to a new reality, where independence and self-sufficiency are often the only viable options. The life that was possible for previous generations now requires a level of wealth that's simply unattainable for most young people today. The rules have changed, and so have the dreams. The heart of the issue is simple. Living costs have soared, but wages haven't kept up. In cities like Sacramento, 2 working parents need to earn far above minimum wage just to cover basics. For single parents, the numbers are even more daunting. Making ends meet is nearly impossible. Even with dual incomes, families are falling behind, working harder just to stay afloat. Dreams of homeownership or saving for the future are slipping away. Government support like child tax credits has shrunk just as families need it most. The result? Stagnant wages, rising costs, and less help from the state. In this environment, choosing singlehood is a strategic move for economic survival. It's not about lack of ambition, it's about making the only choice that makes sense. 2 costs crush modern families: childcare and housing. Childcare has jumped 50% in just 2 years, often rivaling or exceeding rent or mortgage payments. In cities like Boston and San Francisco, annual childcare costs top $20,000. Housing costs also spike with each child. Just 1 extra bedroom can add thousands per year. For many, the child penalty on housing makes family life feel unattainable. These aren't expenses you can cut with budgeting. They're fixed, massive, and unavoidable. The choice often comes down to sacrificing a career or living with constant financial stress. Faced with these barriers, many opt for the stability and freedom of a child-free life. The math simply doesn't add up for most would-be parents. The decision to start a family isn't just financial, it's deeply emotional. Family can bring joy, companionship, and meaning, but the pressures of modern life have raised the stakes. Financial stress can erode relationships and mental health, leading to burnout and anxiety. The motherhood penalty still impacts women's careers, often leading to resentment and lost identity. Divorce remains a real risk, with emotional and financial fallout. The emotional calculus is more complex than ever. Can your relationship and mental health survive today's pressures? For many, the risks outweigh the rewards, making singlehood an act of self-preservation. Protecting one's peace and well-being has become a top priority. Starting a family means sacrificing time, energy, and career momentum. In today's competitive job market, stepping back for parenthood can feel like giving up hard-won progress. Many choose singlehood to maximize professional potential, working longer hours, relocating, or pursuing further education. This flexibility leads to faster advancement and greater fulfillment. Parents often turn down promotions and networking, slowing their careers, especially women who still shoulder more childcare. The choice is stark, deep personal rewards of family, or the independence and growth of a career. With financial security tied to career success, more people are choosing to invest in themselves. For many, professional achievement now outweighs the sacrifices required by parenthood. Geography plays a huge role in family decisions. In high-cost cities like Boston or San Francisco, raising a child can cost nearly $40,000 a year, an insurmountable barrier for most. In more affordable cities like Birmingham or Memphis, costs are half as much, making family life more attainable. This creates a stark regional divide in birth rates and family structures, driven by economics. But even affordable cities can see sudden cost spikes, making long-term planning risky. Instability and unpredictability push people toward the safer path of singlehood. Your zip code can be as decisive as your income in shaping your future. For many, the only predictable choice is to remain single and child-free. The economic landscape is simply too volatile for most to risk starting a family. When you add up the costs, career sacrifices, and emotional risks, staying single in 2025 looks less like a trend and more like a rational response. The potential rewards of family are now outweighed by the near certainty of financial strain and stress. For many, opting out is an act of self-preservation and financial responsibility. Singlehood offers immediate benefits, financial freedom, professional flexibility, and personal autonomy. In an era of burnout and anxiety, these are powerful forms of security. The single life now offers stability the traditional family model can't guarantee. More people are choosing solvency, peace, and freedom over debt and stress. In today's world, singlehood isn't just normal, it's often the smarter, safer, and more sustainable path to happiness.